the thing that just really drives me crazy about this, particularly with what Trump did with the debt ceiling, okay, is that it just I feel like nothing exposes all of these guys more than the debt ceiling. I've been kind of obsessed with this debt ceiling vote for years now, and I remember like Peter Schiff. This is back in so to get my brain together here. So I guess this was 2010 when Peter Schiff ran for Congress or ran for the Senate. Maybe it was 2012. But around he was running, and he kept talking about the debt ceiling vote. And I'll say this: I mean, like, if there's any use in politics anymore, I think it can all be whittled down to the debt ceiling. I don't even know. I don't even know if you're going to go to Congress or anybody's talking about Congress. All I want is a promise that you're not going to vote to raise the debt ceiling, because it's the only thing that matters. It's like the only way. It's the only way we could actually. I mean, don't get me wrong, right? Like if there was some way that we could get everybody in Congress and everyone in the Senate and everyone, if you could get some like repeal the Federal Reserve Act of 1913 bill passed, like, sure, I'm not saying there's not other things you could do, but it's right there. It's right there that you have to raise this debt ceiling. And it's just okay, so more or less we live under the biggest government in the history of the world. There's no question about that. It's not like debatable. I mean, if you were saying what is the most powerful government that's ever existed, there's nothing that compares to the U.S. government. And by the way, governments have these fighting teams that are a way to settle these disputes, and put any of them up against the U.S. fighting team, they're in trouble. There's never been a government that spent as much money, that had as strong of a military, that had as strong technological capabilities. I mean, however you want to measure it, this is the number one, the strongest, biggest government of all time, okay? Now, we're spending, I don't know exactly what we got over this year. It'll be projected as probably over $4 trillion that we'll be spending this year. It's more than any government in the history of the world has ever spent. It's there's nothing you can compare it to. We're bringing in about $3.3 trillion. $3.3 trillion in tax revenue. All right? If we just spent that, the $3.3 trillion, we would be the biggest government in the history of the world. We would still be living under big government. People might, like me, my work would not be done, okay? But it would be an actual cut of hundreds of billions of dollars, Just saying, look, if you can't even ante up, if you can't put your balls on the table and say, I'm for at least taking the government down to $3.3 trillion a year, then just shut up about small government. Just take it out of your fucking vocabulary because you don't believe in it. And I mean, what other proof would you ever need that none of these people, nobody who votes to raise the debt ceiling should ever keep the phrase small government should never come out of their mouth unless they're saying, I have contempt for small government and everyone who supports it. And this is what's so frustrating about all of the mainstream media people, who claim to be on the right, who claim to kind of be like, well, I'm for spending cuts, and I'm for it. Well, guess what? You're clearly never going to get them. You're never going to get them. The budget goes up every year, and this is the only chance to actually hack into that and actually make Americans, have to go, okay, so what do you want now? Now you got to start placing some priorities. So, of course, the Democratic strategy is what? Is to go not deal with any of the shit that I'm talking about, but just go well, let's attach this to people dying in a hurricane zone right now, which is one of the most disgusting fucking things that they do in Washington. They'll always do that stuff, Rob. So it'll be some bit where it's well, do you want to save a baby who's drowning in a well? And you'll be like, yeah, okay, I guess I would vote for that bill. And they're like, okay, it's attached to this year's budget where we spend $11 trillion. will you vote for this bill? And you're like, wait, no, I can't vote for that bill. And then they're like, Rob voted against the baby being saved in the well. And it's like, no, Rob voted against $14 trillion. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, they do this shit all the time. It's like, so they attach these things to other bills. So Trump extends the debt ceiling and he gets the hurricane funding.